Hi everybody, this is Bruce with Habowskistudio, and thank you for joining me for my 5-day painting challenge. This is my day 4 painting. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Of course, I use a limited palette, and that palette is titanium white, Indanthrone Bl, yellow ochre, and cad red. So I want to invite you to subscribe if you're new to the channel, and check me out on my website, www.habowskistudio.com, and on Facebook. Follow me at Bowski Studio. So let's get started, and I'll show you how this progresses. And as usual for the others, after the 20-minute mark, I'll continue on to show you how I completed the painting.
Hi everybody, here we go with another challenge painting here. First off, I want to start with, had a comment or two about the audio syncing in a few of my videos, and I'm not sure why that's happening, because when I play it back after creating the video in my editing program, it looks fine, and then I upload it to YouTube, and that seems to be where the problem lies. And I'm trying to do research and figure out what's going on. They've mentioned a program you can download and it fixes this sort of problem. I tried that. It didn't work for the video in question. So sorry about that. I am working on it. Stick with me. Try to figure it out. As you can see, I'm doing my usual that I've done in past videos, just mapping out with some grayish color I've created from the palette. And you can see the photo above the panel that I'm using for the painting. Now this section that you're watching, of course, is sped up just a little bit, so because you've seen me do this in other videos, but I still think it is important for some people that are starting out in some painting and trying to develop techniques on what they might do to start a painting. So I wanted to include it just in a little bit of a sped up manner so that I didn't bore people too much. As I mentioned too in the beginning, using one of the new colors I bought last summer. I like it a lot because it has kind of a more naturalistic blue when you mix it with some white, and works out pretty well. Now what I'm going to start to do is get in some of my darks from shadows being cast onto other parts of the tree. I've always been fascinated by that in the past when I've seen especially obviously in the winter and the fall, when you see shadows casting across a tree trunk and limbs, shadow dancing across the trunks. I think it's a pretty cool way to show some form and that sort of thing. And all I did was mix up some of the blue, red, a little bit of yellow, kind of create this deep color. Sometimes not as much yellow, just a little variation. And I'll go back in later after the painting dries. I'm thinking at the very end, I felt like some of the shadows might be having a little more purple tone to them. Not too strong. I don't like super strong pushing the purple shadow sort of thing, except where it's really kind of effective in certain parts. Now coming up, I'm just kind of mixing up some tone to do the background tree line. And what I like to do when I do this in a landscape is I really enjoy just, especially on a panel, using that. I can work on a canvas too, that adds some nice texture, but I pretty much just kind of scumble color over the area where I want the say tree line. And the key is to, of course, I'm varying the color depending on what I'm painting, but technique wise, just kind of scumbling that paint on, not really putting it on too thick, because I want to have that dryness, especially in this effect with the winter view here, the dryness of the limbs back there. And I try to pay attention as I'm scumbling the paint in to see if it suggests something alone like that, the initial block in, and then I'll use that and work around that potentially later on in the painting. So I don't just haphazardly put this stuff in here. I'm trying to be aware of what it can suggest later on down the road. And if I want to obliterate certain effects more, and I'll just put in more opaque paint. Here I'm kind of getting some just a little bit grayer, cooler tones in here and there. If I think it's too gray, as you saw, I mix in a little red, warm it up. So I kind of just build up a base layer like that, and that's really going to be effective to suggest trees later on. And you can see I didn't finish that whole aspect. I don't have a lot of points of reference yet for color tones. So now I'm going right to the tree and getting in some color. And while I work from photographs, sometimes I don't, especially for these challenges, except for day one, I'm not married to the photo. I'm not trying to get that tree perfect. Oh, this limb's going off at a whatever angle. As long as I get the basic, the big branches in place, because I like the thrust of them. Little ones can be adjusted to play into the design of the painting. So that's something to keep in mind if you're working from photos. It's really you're getting the essence of the subject, of course, and pay attention to that sort of thing. And a lot of times I don't really take a great photo anyway. It's good enough. I know if I'm painting outside, things I might need to push, soften, or even if I haven't painted outside, it's just what do I want to tone down in importance in the painting, and I'll push and pull things like that. And as you can see, working on this toned panel also assists me in suggesting the grass underneath the bits of snow, bits of ground coming through the snow. So I could have gone maybe a little more warmer in the umber range. That would have been really cool, but it still is going to work. You'll see later on. Now here I am with that blue I was telling you about, just a little bit white in there. It does have some richness to it, but when you compare it to ultramarine blue, it's pretty different. But in context of what you're painting with other colors you're using, it can appear to be richer than it is, if that makes any sense. It's a pretty cool effect, and that's why it's nice kind of working with limited palettes and checking the range out and that sort of thing. I actually want to experiment soon with kind of using the primary palette basically that I've been using. Pick a blue, pick a yellow, pick a red, but kind of more intense reds, and then also use another 3 primaries that are more earth tone based. Say for the red, be burnt sienna, yellow ochre for the yellow, and like a ivory black as a bluish undertone when mixed with white as my muted blue, so to speak. So you'll have your bright primaries and then your earth tone primaries, and you'd be working with 6 colors. And I think that would be kind of intriguing. So I'm gonna check that out in a painting and see what I can come up with. I know some artists really kind of get used to a method of working, and in the past I've used, of course, you've seen in previous paintings, my go-to palette in the past was for a split primary warm and cool blues and yellows and reds. But I shake it up once in a while. Especially handy if you're trying to capture something quickly, I think. It can go both ways, like you don't have a lot of colors to pick from to make a choice. Sometimes you want a wider palette to have convenience colors to use effectively, but I think if you just want to watch out not to make them a crutch. And you can see here in that part of the video right now where I applied the sky color with some palette knife work. I could have gone more in parts of the tree up towards the top of the panel, but putting that paint on with the palette knife, then manipulating it with the brush is a nice effect. And then you saw I push up to the edge of that tree trunk I painted. And what that does is it kind of gives a nice sculptural look to that element of the painting. You're cutting around it. It seems to pop it forward, so to speak. And you can always, if you think one part is too much, you can always soften an edge. So that's something that's definitely doable. It's basically just getting my color chunks in there, and then as I get the whole painting, then I can go back and study it and check for smoothing out edges and so forth. See, I just follow along, and I don't go around back and forth too much. A lot of times in the painting here, you'll see me keep going back to palette, pick up color, because depending on what you're working on, the aspect you're doing, you don't want to noodle the paint around too much. You want to put it on there and leave it, grab some more paint and put it on there and leave it, and then you can manipulate it later. So again, on the brush I'm using, I believe it's the Robert Simmons Sapphire brushes. I really like those for a nice soft sort of brush. Depending on the effect of the surface you want for your paint, I kind of just like to use soft brushes in certain parts of the painting. Now this paint, the tree on the right, you'll see as I start to finish up here, I didn't get to that full effect of the branches I wanted and stuff, because the focal point was really the tree on the left. So I wasn't too worried about that. I put in enough bones to give me some direction later on. When this whole painting's dry, I'll touch up a few things in terms of tree branches and all of that. So I hope you have been enjoying these challenge paintings, and got one more coming up, and then I'll be finished with this little project and on to some really nice other videos that I've done. So be looking for that. And again, if you're new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe and to get more interesting videos coming your way. So thanks for joining me.
Here I am at the actually technically 23-minute mark. I got carried away, but I thought landscapes would be a lot easier to capture, but it's amazing how you just get caught up in things. And some okay color notes, trying to push a little more color than in the photo for the tree trunk to tie in with the trees a little bit in the back. But I'll cool off some of those trees just a bit, because also there's some evergreens in there. But now we're going to go on to the finishing of this, adding in probably another half hour. So thanks for joining me, and on to the next segment to finish this up. But this again is the 23-minute mark for my 5-day paint challenge, day 4. Okay, now we're just going to talk a little bit. I really like this piece. I think it has some great bones, even though I've worked on it for another 20 minutes or so after the 20-minute mark. There's still some things I want to do, of course. One is getting a little more texture in the bark here to show some character of the tree. Not too crazy busy, because I kind of like the idea of the one color effect here against this sort of busy tree line. And so if I don't want to get too detailed, but I do need some texture in there. And I like the palette I used, this Indanthrone Bl that I got from Gamblin. I think it was last summer. I bought 3 primary colors, a blue, a red, and a yellow that I've never used. Well, the yellow was there's a yellow. I can't remember the name right now, but I did buy a different yellow too. But the Indanthrone Bl and the Naphthol red is what I bought, plus that yellow I can't remember right now. But the blue is really cool because when you mix it with white, it seems to already have a more naturalistic blue tone to it. It's not very bright when it mixes with white like ultramarine blue, even though, I mean, it does get a little bright like down in here, but not like ultramarine blue does. And it's really interesting to work with. I'll be adding a few more wispy effects here once the paint dries and so on, that sort of thing. There's still some work to do on this tree back here. But overall, I like the effect. I'll be intensifying a little bit of the dried grass, the dried grass that's showing through the snow, be enriching that with the yellow ochre and some red, getting that a little more intense. But I'm really kind of liking it. I like some negative shapes going on. I'll probably see about trying to try out some practicing pushing some purples in the shadows a little more pronounced. Not like acidic, not super colorful, but for this purpose, when I was working here, I just wanted a quick value look to the tree to show the cast shadows on the branches. So I like that effect. Okay, everybody, I want to thank you for joining me for this Day 4 challenge. I think I did pretty good with this piece at the 20-minute mark. Again, there was things I wanted to get into the piece before that time frame that just didn't happen, but you'll learn a bit every time you do one of these. Again, it's not to get into the habit of doing super fast paintings, but it's just to kind of develop my skill for picking and choosing the big shapes in a composition that make the impact of the piece, and trying to choose those strategically in the very beginning to then build detail on top. So all these elements of ways of working on a painting for me are just, you never know what technique you want to use to capture a scene. So it's important to try out different things rather than get into the same old routine. I don't really learn that way. So I enjoy the process of trying out different methods. So thanks for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel. I do appreciate you checking out my video here, and invite you to watch the older ones. And for everyone else, thanks again for hanging out with me and watching my progress. Till next time, bye.